Now it's time for And the Winner is Motorsports Show, a production of the ETV Live Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Get ready for 2 fun-filled hours of racing dialogue, race results, commentary from drivers, promoters, sponsors, media dignitaries, and much, much more. And now, the racing devil, Mike Neff, and the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland. This is And the Winner is Motorsports Show.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the October 1st edition of And the Winner is Motorsports Show, a production of the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Say that 3 times fast. ETV Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network, ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Okay, I've already screwed it up.
Yeah, nice effort. You almost made it through 2.
ETV Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Yay, give me a clap. Hey, ring the bell. Let's get this thing started. I am Wesley Outland, the ringmaster of motorsports. Joining me is my esteemed panel of co-hosts. I can't call them guests because they're my friends, and well, I hope they're my friends. Co-hosts. They at least work with me.
At least we're co-hosts.
The racing devil, Mike Neff. And crack the whip, sound the horse, the racing cowboy from Michigan, Justin Rose now.
How we doing, guys?
I'm doing great, man. How y'all doing this weekend?
Go Roper, Mike. What are you talking about? No, I'm doing awesome, guys.
That's wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's your nickname.
Heck of a weekend, guys, though. Heck of a weekend, especially for the Midwest.
Awesome weekend in racing, and also a sad weekend in racing. I am sad to report about 2 losses in the racing world that I have had the privilege to either meet or be able to do business with. First off, Mr. Bobby Newton from Hoosier Racing Tire. Tire is truly designed for champions is our motto, and they truly are the definitive racing tire in the business, in my opinion.
Short track business, anyway.
Yes, absolutely. He passed away on Wednesday night, or Wednesday. It was Wednesday morning was when I got the news. Bob Newton was a very big influential part of the Fast Track Racing Series, who I work for. With other racing organizations I've worked for, whether dirt, asphalt, drag, karting, road course, Justin, Mike, you name it, they were a part of it.
Pretty much. And unfortunately, he lost the battle. And ironically, and I forget the man's name now, I believe it was Mike Bates.
Yes.
Bates, that was the head of distribution and pretty much head cook and chief bottle washer for everything going on over there at Hoosier for the last, 20-some years, passed away Wednesday morning. So they lost 2 of their most important people in one day over there. And it's got to be a really hard time over at Hoosier Tire, and our feelings and prayers go out to them. I hope and pray that the business will be able to carry on, but try as you might, when you lose visionaries out of a business, it loses something important, and it's probably going to be a change over there that they're going to have to adjust to for some time to come.
Absolutely, and then another icon that we have lost in the world of motor racing. He was nicknamed the Dean of Motorsports. This man done everything from at the age of 13, getting started the National Speed Sport News. Who, Mike, we had on Dave Arga, we had on Ralph Shaheen from
Ralph
Speed
Shaheen,
Channel, who actually picked up the paper after it was close to going under, bankruptcy, going out of business and whatnot.
I mean, technically, it was shut down for the better part of a year, and Ralph came in with his group and rescued it.
Right, absolutely, and this man started his career, and pretty much when the generation of the computers and the social networking come about for motorsports, this gentleman would use a typewriter, Mike Neff. He loved the typewriter.
He was using a manual typewriter up till the end. I mean, he knew how to use a computer, but he just appreciated the feel and the touch of a typewriter over a word processor. And so by choice, he would use a typewriter to pen all of his columns.
And of course, you know, bottom line, he was just he was a big influence in motorsports. He was a big influence in my life. I remember watching him on television, and I remember Mike Neff at the age of 12, 13, before then, but I really got into it in high school. But I remember as a kid, this is what I want to do, Justin Rose. Now, this is the career I want to have. I want to be like Chris Economaki. I want to be an announcer. I want to be a PR guy. I want to write the race stories like Mike Neff does. He truly set the bar of motorsports as the dean of motorsports. And the word dean, Mike Neff, matches him perfectly because he wasn't the announcer of motorsports. Or he wasn't the writer of motorsports. This nickname matched him perfectly because this man done it all.
I agree. I mean, he was on IndyCar racing, he was on short track racing, he was on NASCAR racing, but in his work with Wide World of Sports, they sent him to do obscure things, snowmobile racing and barrel jumping and just some out there kind of things, but in a style that I think we all wish we could emulate. He did his homework and was well versed in whatever he was going to broadcast well before he got there to do the broadcast. And he set a bar that all of us strive and seldom reach in being journalists about racing because he was that good.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And of course, we are going to have on Dave Argabright, who was Dave Argabright is a great broadcaster in his own, who is respected for Speed Channel, Lucas Oil Television Productions. He was part of the network debut of Dirt Super Late Model Racing on CBS with Tony Bachhoven and, of course, Rob Klepper and Ken Stout. He works for Lucas Oil Productions. He does Speed, and he had the privilege. And this is what I was telling John Wessling, our producer. And by the way, our thoughts and prayers, guys, are also with J.D. Webb, our executive producer. He had to have heart surgery over the weekend on Friday. Everything came out great. He is doing well. He is recovering. J.D., rest well, my friend. You have a great group of men in place that can keep the show going without you having to be here. Take advantage, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. Correct, guys?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
You know, JD, absolute class act. I mean, he's actually been a very good friend to me ever since I met him back in January this year. You know, you can't really speak much better about the guy than what you just did, Wesley.
Absolutely, definitely. And if another guests that are going to be on the show tonight, along with me, Mike Neff, Justin Rose now. Again, producer and executive producer tonight is John Wessling. They call him Fast Track. Dave Argabright going to be on first. Daniel Hemrick, the CRA JEGS All-Star winner at, Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis. He's going to be on. Nelson Piquet Jr. at 6:30, I believe, correct? The winner of the truck race at Vegas?
Yes, indeed. We had him scheduled for 7, then turned out he had something double booked and asked for 6:30, so we're going to accommodate.
Steve Francis, the Kentucky Colonel, the winner of the Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals in Iowa, is going to be on. Rich Bickle, another great icon in the world of motorsports. I remember watching him running NASCAR when I was a kid. He's going to be on. He won the World Short Track Championship at Rockford, am I correct?
Yes. Well, I think it's the National Short Track Championship.
He won a big race. Tyler Thomas of the Power Eye Racing Midget Series is going to be on. And Pietro Fittipaldi, winner of his first ever NASCAR late model stock event at the Pepsi Fall Brawl 200 at Hickory Motor Speedway. All these great guests lined up here tonight. So weave got quite a show.
Hope we can get them all in.
We're going to get them all in, one way or the other. We're going to go now to our to our phone lines and get on our first guest, and we'll have him on here for about 15, 20 minutes or so on the show is what I meant. And by the way, ain't y'all going to say anything?
About? Your birthday? Is that where you're going?
Yeah. Yeah, kiss my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
happy birthday to Wesley Outland. He's 29 again.
29 again. Was
29 again? I thought the phrase.
You know
was,
how that whole deal goes. Once they get beyond 29, they just celebrate 29 forever.
No, once you get 30, you stay at 30. Is what
Until he got to 29, now he's just 29 again.
Absolutely.
Whatever, guys. It's all fuzzy math.
It's all good.
It's all new math.
It's all good and it's all in fun. What do you say?
Get in the pit and try to love someone.
Absolutely.
Ball with the ball, the bang, diggy, diggy, diggy. Says the boogie, say up, jump the boogie.
There we go. Let's go to the phone lines. And joining me, I believe he's from Indianapolis, Indiana. Just traveled in from the Knoxville Nationals, the late model Knoxville Nationals in Iowa. Dave Argabright from Speed Channel and Lucas Oil Productions Television. Dave, how you doing, sir?
Doing very well, guys. How are you tonight?
Awesome, awesome. I know it's it is a sad weekend last weekend, and of course still continuing in the motorsports world after the passing of a very good friend of yours. Would you like to talk about it?
Well, obviously, yes, I would. We lost Chris Economaki Friday morning. He was 91 years old, and if you've been around the sport more than 5 minutes, I think you probably have heard of Chris Economaki. And even if you haven't, in every media person and every broadcast person, they're doing some things that Chris Economaki began. I mean, he was really one of the pioneer media people in the print business and also in the broadcast business, and he had set the standard for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 decades, you know, and when you're the first to do things, you have an awful lot of influence over everybody that comes behind you, and that's pretty much what Chris was, greatly influential.
Absolutely, definitely, and I don't think there's any other better way of saying it. And of course, Dave Argabright, a very respected and well-known media personality, and your own self, Dave, with everything you have done with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network, working with Mike King and Wally Levin and company for the big races at the Indianapolis 500 to the Brickyard, to moving up to the dirt racing, to covering Speed Channel, to covering the Lucas Oil Productions. And can I ask you a question? What was it like being a part of that network debut of dirt super late model racing on national TV when you done that with CBS?
Well, it was pretty cool because, during the event, I've done, a number of broadcasts, but this was one that I just sort of had a sense throughout the night that we were doing something special, something different. We were kind of the first to do this at a CBS level, and it was just cool. I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, you do, I was aware at the time, but I think it's taken the months that followed really to understand that was really a big deal to get on CBS. I mean, a lot of people saw us that were not necessarily race fans, and maybe that opened the door to a lot of new people coming into the sport.
Definitely, definitely. Justin, you got anything for Dave Argabright?
Yeah, Dave. I just wanted to ask you a question here. Something I've been reading out here in the mainstream media here with guys like Rick DeBrule. They're certainly sharing a lot of really neat and unique stories about how Chris Economaki.
Justin, are you still there, buddy? Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Broke up. Go ahead and repeat the question for Dave again.
All right, sorry. I've been reading a lot of stuff in mainstream media, like guys like Rick DeBrule, sharing personal stories. Is there any kind of special or unique story that you could share with us about Chris Economaki?
Well, he was a very interesting person, and one of the things a lot of people may not realize, the guy was absolutely positively one of the most, I don't know how to put this politely, probably the worst driver behind the wheel of a passenger car. And it was a combination of Chris's strong personality and New Jersey roots, and man, he would take whatever shortcut he needed, up over curbs, down the wrong way on a one-way street. It didn't matter. He was on a mission, and he was going to get there as quick as he could, and that's all there was to it. And there were many times that, when we were writing our book together, that he would be driving, and man, I'm truly white-knuckling that thing on the door handle. Wow, I cannot believe he just did that,
Definitely, definitely. Talk about, again, on the program, ladies and gentlemen, from Speed TV and Lucas Oil Television Productions, Dave Argabright, and Dave, a very well-respected person in the media. Dave, by the way, I love your columns because I do a lot of dirt racing announcing, and I love the columns you put on Dirt on Dirt. I mean,
thank you very much.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
That.
Absolutely. And by the way, Kelly Carlton told me to tell you hello, too.
Well, he's a good guy too. He's right there on Dirt with me.
Absolutely. Me and him work together with Fast Track, and definitely another guy that another gentleman that can definitely write stories is Kelly Carlton, and we're talking about and paying our respects to Chris Economaki. And Mike Neff, I just felt like it was only right to have Dave Argabright on this show and to have him talk about the life of Chris Economaki, because Chris Economaki, Dave, is, he set the bar to where you're at and to where I would love to be one day, doing the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500 or anybody that's in the motorsports field of either announcing, television, radio, writing stories like Mike does for frontstretch.com. The Dean of Motorsports was a perfect nickname for Chris Economaki.
Yeah, he was just so early in the game and so powerfully influential. I mean, he became the editor of Speed Sport News in 1950, and at that time there were very few, if any, national weekly papers. I mean, truly national papers. And his editor's notebook column really established a standard about how you report on auto racing. And then 10 years later, he comes on ABC, and he's probably the very first pit reporter in the entire history of broadcasting for auto racing. And how he did things, how he conducted himself, how he asked questions, that established sort of a baseline that everybody, and I mean everybody,
right,
that came along behind him would follow. That's very, very unusual. And there's never again going to be a person with the reach and influence and presence of Chris Economaki. It's not going to happen, because the stars could possibly align themselves to start this thing over again.
I mean, over a career of 70 years with motorsports, 60 years with the National Speed Sport News, and I've done some checking up on the history, and 12, 13 years old, going to a newsstand and purchasing the magazine and then selling it and becoming a publisher and then joining them and then buying the company. And bottom line, Dave Argabright, just say this is the truth. He loved his typewriter. When the computers came out, he didn't care. He wanted his typewriter to write the race stories.
Yep, that's exactly right. He had no interest in the newer technology, and I think what you just touched upon there is important too, that Chris, he's sort of the great American success story, because he and his family went through the Depression and had very, very little in terms of money or goods or anything like that, and it was a pretty tough environment for him. But then he rose to become financially successful and had an impact on the business where he followed, and that's a great example for what can happen in our country.
Absolutely. Mike Neff?
I think the thing that struck me so much about him, it's there's this moment that I remember, and I don't even know why it sticks out to me, but I want to say it was 1982 Indianapolis 500. It may have been 81, but he was on the pit lane talking about the new front end, the new nose on the March chassis. And he's comparing it with the Eagle, and he's like, the one's pointed, but the March is a bulbous W.C. Fields nose. And I don't know why, to this day, that moment just is burned in my brain, that he had such a strong will, which I think opened so many doors to all of us that are in this business. But he had such a folksy way, yet was so incredibly intelligent at the same time. And it was just amazing, because a lot of times you'll get those guys that are that smart that they can't communicate on a basic, simple level. It's always got to be these 10,000-foot kind of conversations. And he was always so down-to-earth and so wholesome and genuine. But on another note, speaking of Indianapolis, I kind of wanted to get your feel away from the Economaki story, Dave. You've been to Indy. You've seen stock cars at Indy. What's your overall opinion of the facility in and of itself, and whether it should be hosting as many races as it does now compared to back in the day where it was only one race a year?
Well, I realize a lot of purists don't feel that way. They felt like it should have just been Indy and that's it. But you can't deny we live in modern times, and that's too big, too important, too costly of a facility to sit idle 11 months of the year.
Right.
This is 2012. You've got to run an entity like a business, and there was just too much opportunity there for the Speedway to not do that. I mean, it made sense to bring the stock cars. It makes sense to bring the sports cars and the bikes, because the fans embrace it. And So to me, it's just looking at it strictly as a business proposition. I mean, we don't look at, something like Madison Square Garden and say that can only host, a handful of, that can only host the Knicks, and that's it. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's just not economically feasible today to operate that way. And as they say in finance, if something can't go on forever, it won't go on forever. It was inevitable that there would be other events there.
Definitely. Dave, what you do everything, and you've done everything. You've started from the short track like I've done, to doing the touring races. You've done you've worked with Rick Benjamin with Carolina Production Group doing the races for the ASA Late Model Series and the Southeast Asphalt Tour. When I used to be the series announcer for them, you've done the USAC Midgets, you've done Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you've done Speed Channel. You're doing that now. You're doing Lucas Oil Productions. What is your favorite coverage of motorsports? I love all types of racing, but to me, dirt late model racing is where it's at, or dirt track racing is where it's at. And also, where do you see short track racing right now, where it was back then when you first started, and where you see it in years to come?
Well, the first part of your question, I'm not trying to be evasive, but this is the honest truth. I just love short track racing. I mean, I do a lot of pavement racing too. I still do some sprint cars. I do dirt late models. I've done pavement late models and all that. And I honestly and truly can tell you that I don't have a personal preference of one exclusive type or series. I really like having some variety. I genuinely do. Now, the second part, I think short track racing still has a great opportunity because it's very entertaining, it's affordable, and it's widespread where it can reach a lot of different people. But I think it's going to take continued good promotion to try to reach out into the mainstream to make this an economic and viable form of entertainment that people not familiar with the sport aren't too intimidated that they would want to come and buy a ticket and see what it's all about. And that's we're going to have to continue to be vigilant and work pretty hard to try to make the sport still exciting, still a little rough around the edges, but yet still appealing to a big, broad section of people.
Absolutely, definitely. And I know with the economy and the gas prices and things the way they are, definitely it struggles. But like you said, Dave, you love short track racing, and I really believe that short track racing is going to be the motor sport that sets the bar. And we've got to keep fans involved in short track racing because I think that's what's going to keep these big national programs afloat is the local short track stars doing what they do.
Absolutely. That's really the foundation of the sport. That's where all of the talent virtually comes from. Nobody starts out at a big touring series like USAC or Lucas Oil or whatever, World of Outlaws. You can't compete at that level brand new. You've got to bring some experience to the game. The only way you really can get that is to start at your local track and race against local talent and get better to try to grow. And we've got to make sure we always have that infrastructure in place.
Well, Dave, what is your final closing thoughts of your good friend and the man that you co-authored a book with Chris Economaki?
Well, first of all, I feel like I'm incredibly privileged to be able to do the book with him because of just personally. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, and the first thing that I thought when I got the news early Friday morning of his passing is, gee, I'm so glad we did the book. I mean, we got that down forever. That was very important, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to do that. But I think in the big picture, I mean, we will continue in years to come to look back at Chris, and I don't think, most of us, if enough time passes, they forget about us. That's just the nature of life.
Yeah.
But Chris, I think his legacy is going to endure for a very, very long time, just because he was such a strong presence in the sport.
Absolutely. Mike Neff, anything else?
No, I think that's it. We appreciate you being on, Dave. Enjoy watching you. I love the fact that you are so multifaceted and cover so many sports. We appreciate you taking the time to be on our show tonight. Hope to see you at the track sometime soon.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. And, Dave, by the way, we're going to try to get our VR credentials turned in by January so we can see you up at the Chili Bowl.
Hey, you will love it. Nobody ever comes there once. They always come back.
I've never been there, none.
Yeah, you'll like it. You will like it.
Absolutely. Dave, God bless you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
That is Dave Arkwright from Speed Channel and Lucas Oil Television Productions, a truly great, respected broadcaster and and paying his respects to and question in the chat room for him. And I do apologize. I just looked at my my message cam, and I do apologize if you know, definitely try to get it to me a lot faster. I apologize for that. But Mike, truly in closing for this segment, I just felt like with us doing our radio show, it's only right to pay our respects to the Dean of Motorsports, Chris Economaki. Seriously. Yeah,
it's very true. I mean, if there's ever, when the day comes that there's a Mount Rushmore of sports, motorsports commentators, I mean, he's one of the four that will definitely be up there. I mean, there's just no question about it. He has influenced and driven the way this business was formed and grew in the last 60 years. And we owe him an incredible debt of gratitude for many years to come.
Justin Rose, now your thoughts before we close this segment, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, what a just tremendous loss as far as the motorsports journalism is concerned. Because going back to your comment, Mike, about Formula One and the March and the Eagle and that kind of stuff, he had his hands in everything in broadcasting, and he really defined what it was to be the very first pit reporter and set the standard for guys like Dave Argabright, Jack Arute, Dr. Jerry Punch, and everybody else to this day. His standard still lives on.
Absolutely. And I would say in closing, to close this subject with Chris Economaki and his passing at age 91, over 70 years in motorsports broadcasting, whether television, radio, PR, writing stories, columnist, analyst, whichever. Guys, I've lived a great life. It's been a great ride. Let the race go on. And I would think he would say, let the racing show go on, and we will do just that. Forever in our memories, Chris Economaki. And we are now going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will go from talking about a true best pioneer in motorsports like Chris Economaki and to another future star of NASCAR. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series winner at Las Vegas, Nelson Piquet Jr. after the break. We'll be right back. By the way, don't forget, Chase number 3 at Dover tonight at 9:20. Join me and Michael Keaton in the booth. We'll be right back with more. And the winner is, after this.
The fever. Intense. NASCAR racing experience. The authentic racing experience. Packages start at just $329. Thrilling. Yeah! The rush. The NASCAR racing experience. Call 1-877-RACE-LAP today.
ETV Live, always pushing the bar just a little bit further, is proud to introduce ETV Live Radio, supported by the HD Radio Network. ETV Live Radio features classic rock every hour, every day. You can also catch live events such as Race Day broadcasts right from the booth. Open Paddock Live at 9:30 p.m. Tuesday nights. The Pit Report on Friday nights at 7 p.m. ETV Live Radio featured in the sports section of iTunes. Get the mobile app from TuneIn.com and look for us on Windows Media Guide. ETV Live Radio on the HD Radio Network.
I believe we're back, brother.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back.
You can take it. Go ahead.
Welcome back to And the Winner Is Motorsports Show on the ETV Live Online Radio Network, part of the HD Network.
ETV Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network.
Yeah, whatever. I don't have that written down in front of me. I have to try and go from memory, and I don't say it enough to have it get there. But anyway, welcome back. We don't care where we are. We're just glad you're here to listen to us.
Absolutely, definitely. I am the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland. He is the racing devil, Mike Neff. Got the cowboy in the house up in Michigan, the racing cowboy.
Goat Roper of motorsports.
The what?
The Goat Roper of
He's going to keep saying Go Roper just
I
because
want to
he's
do
from
it until it sticks.
When did he come up with that? The Goat Roper of motorsport.
When we were trying to come up with what he looked like wearing that cowboy hat in the picture.
He reminds me of Austin Dillon. You know Austin Dillon, like
he looks It's more like Travis Quapple when Quapple won the truck race at Texas a few years back to me.
Okay.
I'm down with that. I could be down with that.
Yeah. Cool.
If that floats your boat. Nelson Piquet Jr. on the program. Talk a little about Nelson, because I first saw him race at Rockingham in the truck race, which, by the way, I'm happy to report the trucks are coming back to the Rock. They had to, Mike Neff. There would have been a mob for NASCAR if they wouldn't have booked them.
Well, yeah, it's one of them things. They had a good turnout last year. I wish it had been better. Hoping this will be good. I'm truly worried about 2014 because I remember the way it was when they reopened the place and the ARCA race was run and the place was packed. And the ARCA race was run the next year and there was about 4,000 people there. And the ARCA race was run the third year and there was about 1,000 people there.
But
that's what
the race out. The Carolina 500, these ARCA cars, Mike, cannot go 334 laps like they first tried to come up with.
They can. It's just gas and tires.
That's what made the race boring, in my opinion.
Well, but whatever the case may be, they've got to support it. Whether it's a 50-lap UARA race or a 334-lap truck race, they've got to support it, or there's going to be no excuse. And NASCAR will have no reason to come back there again, so they've got to support them, and that's what scares me. But I'm super excited they're coming back. I look forward to being there, and can't wait to hang out with Andy Hillenberg and the gang and do it all over again April of next year, because it's going to be another fantastic race.
What is your thought about that?
Honestly, I absolutely love what the Truck Series does in Rockingham. Rockingham deserves a Sprint Cup date. That race right there, honestly, in my opinion, guys, they need to have all three Touring Series back there. Andy Hillenberg certainly showed this last time around that he can certainly host an event. So, Rockingham being back on the schedule for all series, hopefully down the road sometime, I just think it would just be absolutely wonderful for the sport. I really do.
Absolutely. And we are about to another future star of the sport. This young man impressed me at Rockingham at the Good Sam Roadside Assistance 200. Set on the pole, put on an awesome show at the Rock, which in the end, the number 4 of Casey Kane went on to win the event. But I knew from there, Mike Neff, we were talking in the media center, this driver, Nelson Piquet Jr., is going to be a star in the NASCAR world, and he proved it Saturday night at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Nelson Piquet Jr., welcome to the show, buddy. Thank you for being on with us tonight.
It's a pleasure and an honor to hear something from that. I mean, there's not a lot of people that think the same way, so I hope I can prove everybody wrong sooner than later.
Oh, my. Dude, you turned heads at Rockingham. What are you talking about?
I know. I think I need to win more races, and everybody's going to be. I think everybody's going to be convinced. I have a hard time to show people that I'm capable, but I'll do it the hard way. We're going to win, and nationwide, road courses, all holes everywhere.
Very cool. Hey, Nelson, I'm a little curious. The first win in the trucks came at Michigan, and it was a fuel mileage deal. When you were crossing the line after that great move under Crafton in turn 1 on the final lap of Vegas, and you came and you took the checkered flag, I heard over your radio you said, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, we won it, or we won it the right way. Was it a relief to you to be able to say to folks, look, I know that Michigan was a fuel mileage deal, but this one we won it straight up, and there's nobody that's going to be able to take it away from us?
Well, not only that, obviously it was a perfect way to win a race. Take the last lap, which it's like every driver. The best feeling a driver can have. So, especially starting from 13th where we started from. But and also it's a race that I'm always going to remember for a long time. There's a few races in your life that you remember, like the first free win I had in Brazil when I was 16, and I spun on the outlap because it was raining, and I had started from the back, and I won the race. I had the same one in England where it was raining, started in the back, won the race. So there were a few little races that you always remember, and they're very special, and for sure going to be one of them.
Well, I got to hand it to you. That was an amazing move. I mean, I want to say it was 3 or 4 laps before the end of the race. You got right up to him, and you weren't able to get by him, and it seemed like you kind of regrouped. Did you know that that when you sailed it into one, it was do or die at that point in time?
I mean, yeah, Chris Carey said, look, or you bring back a win, or don't bring back the truck. You do it. So it was, he just said, remember what I told you before the race? We're here just to win. So, I mean, I was trying, and a few laps back, well, I had tried, and it didn't work out, and I knew it was tight because I had the fender on the wall 10 laps back. When I touched the wall, it kind of pushed the fender a bit inside and got a bit tight on me. So, I knew I had to go down and hit the apron a bit hard for the front to try to grab. At that point, because I was getting tighter by the lap, the fuel load was getting lower, and it worked. I just hit the apron perfectly, and the front grabbed, and I managed to keep wide open through 1 and 2, and at the exit of the corner was in front of him. It was just perfect.
Justin, go ahead, buddy. What's your question for Nelson Piquet Jr., truck race winner at Las Vegas on Saturday night?
Nelson, I want to congratulate you for your win. The biggest question I have for you, especially relating to your heritage, how was it growing up in motorsport, growing up with, Formula One world champion, your dad, Nelson Piquet? Describe to those that are listening what it's like to grow up with somebody that's that big of a figure in a motorsport on such a grand stage as Formula One Grand Prix.
I mean, that's a good question. A lot of people ask me usually if it adds on pressure, and in my case, I don't think it adds on pressure because I'm naturally very hard on myself. My father has been always hard, on himself and the way he does things. He never had it very easily. His father didn't let him race, and my father had to race like, I don't know if you guys saw in Michigan, I had a helmet with the PK written a bit differently. Well, that was a kind of an homage for him because it was his 60th birthday. And when he started racing, he had to race with a fake name because he started winning races and being in the press, and his father didn't know about it. So, and that also, he didn't have, I mean, his family was a normal family, wasn't an extremely wealthy family. So he kind of managed to do everything he did on his own. But going back to your question, answering back to your question, I mean, he always taught all his kids to give a lot of value, especially to everything we have in life and everything. And with that, I think it made me be very hard on myself because I know I have a father that is always going to help me, is always going to, be on my side if I need it, and like he has been. So the minimum I can do is win every weekend. That's what I need to do. That's what I only accept because I think I'm good enough to do it. I think I have the right preparation. Maybe obviously coming to NASCAR is different because I'm doing a different route, but still the same way. Whatever, if I'm going to race something in my life, I'm always going to be very hard on myself. And I think being the son of a 3-time world champion, it's one more reason for me to be hard on myself because I don't want people to think that I am where I am because of my name. I want people to think that I am because of my qualities, because of my passion to the sport, because of all of these things, not because of who I am.
Got a question for the chat?
Yep, we have a question from Jet Driver here in the chat box here. He wants to know, what adjustments did you make on your last pit stop at Vegas, and did the 2 tires actually free you up at Vegas?
I don't really remember what was the changes on the set. If we did, it was very slight changes because the truck was pretty good most of the race. And the 2-tire change, honestly, it freed up. The reason it freed up a little bit was because we added a bit of gas. And that automatically frees you up a little bit. But Vegas, it was getting quite cold at that point at the end of the race. Tires weren't consuming very much. And by the end of the race, me and my captain, we were wide open. So, I mean, you can see the number of laps the left side tires had already, and we were still wide open. So the tire consumption wasn't a big deal over there. So that was why we chose to change 2 tires. And being that, it doesn't change the balance too much when you change only 2 tires in the track where the tires are not consuming too much.
Absolutely. Get on the line, Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson, I have a question, buddy. Was it in your in your racing decision to run NASCAR, to not follow the Formula One Grand Prix the way your dad had success being a 3-time Formula One champion, and try something new with the with the most #1 national sanctioned sport for stock car racing, of course NASCAR, and running in the truck series?
Well, obviously I had my go in Europe. I won nearly all the championships I had to win until I got to F1. But obviously in F1 I kind of didn't go through the wrong path. I got involved with the wrong people at the wrong time. I still managed to do a podium. I was the president for the most points in the rookie year in F1. So I mean I did my share of races in F1. I just didn't get. I just got a bit set up, got involved in a few little things that I shouldn't have. I was the wrong manager and stuff, and I wanted to do something different. And by different, when I say that, it's something competitive, something challenging, something that would require for me to work my ass off and to get when I accomplish it, for me to feel extremely good, like I did when I got an F1 or like I really won a race here. And the only thing I could see out there was NASCAR. NASCAR was the most challenging sport out there, especially for a guy leaving Formula One. So that's what I decided to do. I got an invitation. Obviously, it started by an invitation, and then I put all the pieces together. I said, no, this is really challenging. This is really something I want to do. I spoke to my father. He said, Nelson, look, I'm happy to help you, whatever you want. If you want to do that, let's do it. And again, and another reason to do that was F1 was starting to get into a phase which drivers were buying drives, and I wasn't really comfortable with that. I mean, I could very well bring a sponsor to F1 and keep racing like there's many guys doing, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do something. I was young enough to start over, start over in a Can-Am or in a truck and work myself up. But earning my rights, my drives, earning my respect among the drivers or among team owners and fans here. So that's what I want to do. That's what I'm doing. I'm feeling that I'm over the first stage, which is getting the hang of it and starting to do a few good results. And soon I'll be in nationwide, and then the next step was going to be convince the cup teams to hire me.
Absolutely, Mike. I mean, what can you say about this guy? I mean, I just knew point blank that when I saw him at Rockingham, like I said, he impressed me. To this day, Mike, and we discussed this, did you not think that he had that race won at Rockingham until that late caution fell?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was no question that he was the class of the field for most of the race. And that last caution kind of, whether it was something they did on Nelson's truck that made it not handle quite as well, or whether it was Casey's just got that much better. But if it hadn't been for that, I'm pretty sure Nelson would have scored his first NASCAR win in the trucks rather than in the Nationwide Series. But now that he's got those two, he just needs to run off and get himself a cup win too. Nelson, I'm a little curious about the group at Turner Motorsports. They're running cars and trucks, and they seem to be really successful or getting more and more successful in both series. They've dabbled in the cup side of things. Do you think they're going to go cup racing, or do you think you're going to have to go elsewhere to be able to get a cup ride?
No, I don't think cup is any of Mr. Turner's plans at the moment. I think he's starting to dominate trucks. I'm sure his next plan is to do very well in Nationwide. Which is not a very easy thing because he races practically against cup for the Nationwide Series, so it's not going to be easy. And Mr. Turner does that as a hobby, but he loves racing because it's obviously he doesn't live in Charlie, lives in Texas, so it's for him going to Cup. I think it's going to be too much of a big deal and stuff. I mean, he's happy with what he has. He's been successful with what he has at the moment, and I think he's doing the right thing. He has 3 cars, 3 trucks. Some races we have to do more, and but no, I think the plan is to stay where they are. Sometimes when they need to run a Cup car here and there for somebody, they'll do it. But obviously, the goals are to win truck races and win nationwide races.
Yeah, of course, you're tuned in to And the Winner Is Motorsports Show, the first one of October 1st on this Monday in the year 2012. I'm Wesley Outland, Mike Neff, Justin Rose. Now our esteemed panel of guests include right now Nelson Piquet Jr., winner of the NASCAR Camping World Truck event at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And by the way, I want to remind you, are you mobile? Get the app for ETV Live Radio and the Winner Is Motorsports Show. Tune in to the program every Monday night live from 6 to 8. And remember, replays every Friday afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern on the ETV Live online Autosports Entertainment Network. Get the app. Go on to your app stores on your phones, Android, iPhone, BlackBerry, you name it, and go to tunedin.com. Get the app, then put in the search box ETV Live Radio. Again, that's the mobile. Also available on iTunes Radio, Windows Media Guide, HD Radio Network, and, of course, ETV Live-ePlay.net. Nelson, we got to bounce, buddy, but thank you so much, man, for being on the program. Why don't you go ahead and throw out your sponsors that put that number 30, Qualcomm entry in Victory Lane at Vegas.
Thank you, guys. Hope you guys soon when we win another race, hopefully.
Yeah, go ahead and throw out your sponsors, buddy. Hello, Nelson, are you there?
I think he left us.
He hung up.
He must have been done. And I didn't get to ask him about Millbridge. You went and cut him off before I could get my Millbridge question in.
All right, hang on. I'll call him back.
No, it's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's all good. Who's next? Talk to me.
Big break, and when we come back, we're actually going to have on the driver, the Kentucky Colonel, Steve Francis. Steve Francis from Ashland, Kentucky, winner of the $40,000 Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals. And yes, Lucas Oil is in everything in racing.
Everything. Everything. Boats, tractor pulls, truck pulls, dirt, asphalt, sprint cars.
Yes.
Everything.
Right after the break, the Kentucky Colonel, number 15 for Barry Wright Race Cars, Steve Francis, right after the break. Don't go anywhere, and the winner is. We'll be right back.
The Pit Report, featured every Friday night at 7 p.m. live on ETV Live Radio. Join Dakota Ehrman and J.D. Webb for weekly race recaps, driver interviews, and updates. Unabridged, uncensored, and no knotheads, cowboy. The Pit Report, live on ETV Live Radio, 7 p.m. every Friday night.
Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, conveniently located off of intersection I-81 and I-77 in Wytheville, Virginia. Services all of Southwest Virginia in residential, farms, recreational, and commercial properties. The company is owned by Jason and Judy Short. Judy has been in the real estate market for over 15 years and is the broker of Shortway Real Estate. And they have 2 of the top agents in Southwest Virginia. Their goal is simple: to provide the best customer service and build business on repeat clients. You can get pre-approvals in less than 20 minutes. They have many properties located on over 300 websites nationwide. You can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for customer service guaranteed. And guess what? Licensed in Virginia, they can show you any property listed in the Commonwealth state. They're located at 1205 East Main Street in Wytheville, Virginia. For more details, call 276-223-4018. That's 276-223-4018. Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, reminding you, take the short way home. Welcome back to the program, and Mike Neff done at the last break. Now I'll let our goat roper of motorsports, Justin Rhodes, now bring us back for the break.
Welcome back to the ETV Live Online Autosports Entertainment Network. This is the And the Winner is Motorsports show, hosted by the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland.
Ding, ding, ding!
And the goat roper of Indiana, now lives in North Carolina. The one and only Mike Neff.
The Racing Devil. You got to get that in there. The Racing Devil. Yeah.
He ain't the Racing Devil. He's the goat roper of the South.
Okay.
Go ahead there, Michigander.
Wow. And, of course, a great job to Fast Track Magic Fingers, John Westling, always running the boards for us. And our thoughts and prayers to J.D. Webb, the California cowboy, the California kid who is recovering.
The California goat roper.
Yeah. Why do you call everybody goat roper? That's so wrong. Hey, by the way, I just want to let everybody know that our simulation racers lovers, if you're ready to lynch mob Mike Neff, he says, and I quote, last night, make sure you can get out of your basement first.
Yeah, make sure your mama lets you out of the basement first. Try putting some pants on and then come on down.
Wow. Hey, that is so wrong. Let's go to the phone lines and bring on Steve Francis. Everybody knows Steve Francis. You know Steve Francis, don't you, Mike?
I do. I actually got to talk to him earlier this year.
At the Carolina Crown, wasn't it?
I did. Asked him why he was there. He said they're paying $50,000, ain't they?
Was it $50,000 to win?
I don't remember what it was.
Oh, it was $20,000.
It was 20, 25, whatever it was. It was more than anybody else was paying that weekend. He's like, that's why I'm here. They're paying the most money.
Yeah. Steve Francis, are you there, buddy? Okay, call was not available at this time. Okay, well, we'll try it again here. Have you got race results around the country?
I do.
Well, the reason... Please end that call. I'm in a call with somebody already, so I need to end that call and connect with somebody else, is what it's saying. Okay. I don't know who I'm calling. Maybe I'm calling Ghostbusters and I don't realize it.
Calling somebody.
Calling somebody. Absolutely. Steve Francis, the Kentucky Colonel, man, that guy is one of the best in dirt late model racing. I am telling you, the man can do it all. And Barry Wright celebrated his birthday. He drives the Barry Wright house car, which Jonathan Davenport used to pilot. And he won the Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals over the weekend, the late model Nationals at Lucas Oil. Let me explain this real quick before we get...
The most important one, the Saturday night race.
Right. Billy Moyer won the Thursday night show for $7,000. Now, Mike Marlar, the Winfield Warrior, he won the Friday night portion. Those were 25 laps, 7,000 to win. 25 laps for 7,000 to win. Yes, sir. I said that. That's crazy.
Why is that crazy?
I just... do you agree with me, Justin?
Honestly, I don't think it's crazy at all. I mean...
5 laps for 7,000 to win?
Why? The World of Outlaws sprint cars race 30 laps for 10,000 to win.
Yeah, but that's a different breed, though. The cars are different, all right? And then, of course, you come back... now, the stipulation was Moyer and Marlar were automatically qualified in for the 40,000. Everybody else had to go through the alphabet soup to make their way in. Okay? Then the main event, only the points race was Saturday night, 40,000 to win, 100 laps, and Steve Francis won it. And
There you go.
not happy with the whole running. I mean, why? I agree. Why didn't they run 2 points?
I just don't understand why you don't get points every night. I mean, you're showing up. Everybody's there. You're running. They had 80 cars Thursday, 79 cars Friday, and 90 cars Saturday.
I mean, wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense,
more
guys?
than they run most other nights. So why do they not give them points every night?
Why don't they just give them show-up points? I mean, that's what the Outlaws do. They hand out show-up points for the Nationals. The sprint car guys, anyway.
I don't know how they've done that whole deal.
I think you ought to give points for every race. I mean, you're racing. Why not?
Well, that's like, for instance, you mentioned the two races that are non-points. That's like, for instance, the Lucas Oil Dirt Series when they have of course, the Winter Nationals, the East Bay Winter Nationals. The 3 or 4 races are non-points until you get to Friday and Saturday.
Right, and I don't get that either. If everybody's there and everybody's racing, let's go for points.
I agree. Maybe we can ask Steve.
I mean, if they run half the field or something, or if, a third of the field runs one night, a third the second night, a third the third night, and then they all run the last night, then I'm fine with that. But if everybody's running in the race, why are we not giving out points?
I agree. I agree.
I mean, you bring up a valid point, Mike, and really, the best way to handle that, I feel, is if you're going to do a big event like that, is either A, award show-up points for each night, or you run full points. It's all that there is to it, not just one night.
The Mozilla is not working properly, so I had to go to Google Chrome and get our phone line to work now. So we'll have him on the show now, Steve Francis. We're a little bit behind. We got some more great guests lined up on the show. Pietro Fittipaldi, Daniel Hemrick, Rich Bickle. I'm looking forward to having NASCAR driver Rich Bickle on the program. But right now, Dirt World, here we go. Winner of the 2012 9th edition of the Lucas Oil Late Model Knoxville Nationals. From Ashland, Kentucky, driver of the number 15, the Kentucky Colonel, Steve Francis. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Absolutely, man.
Doing great, brother.
What is this got to be one of the prestigious races you've won to add to your calendar of great racing accomplishments, Steve, over the weekend at Knoxville?
Well, I mean, I've been very, very fortunate in my career. I won the Dirt Track World Championship, the World 100, which the World 100 will be the granddaddy of all of them.
Right, yeah.
The World 100 has always been the granddaddy. But to me, Knoxville just...
It's right in that same bar?
To me.
Right.
I put it above that as far as, for me, and a personal accomplishment, just because I feel like it's going to be our biggest crown jewel event within the next 4 to 5 years that we have, bar any.
And, the thing is, too, guys, is Knoxville Raceway, that's the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. The museum is right off the backstretch. And it's always been famous for the sprint cars. And then 9 years ago, the idea came of how about let's have the late model cars there. Kind of like the concept happened with the Bristol deal with the sprint cars one weekend, the late models the next. And, Steve, if I remember, you were a part of that program.
Yeah, we... Actually, the first one we had just got to second and broke a wheel, and the second one we finished second behind Bloomquist in.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Justin, you got any questions for the man who won at Knoxville, Steve Francis?
I mean, Steve Francis, I absolutely got to say congratulations first and foremost. 90 guys in the pits for 40,000 win. It's unbelievable feat there, especially in Knoxville. But how is the mystique of Knoxville, and just like you've alluded to, just how big is that cool factor running at Knoxville where it's usually an open wheel house and getting to run the full body cars there?
Well, you just kind of when you walk on the victory lane and know that, on the podium there that they've got. And I've been fortunate. I finished second, third the last 3 years, and to win it this year. But to walk to the top of that podium at Knoxville, you go back through the history of the guys that have won races there, all the way back to the Doug Wolfgangs and the Aiden Foyts that have raced there, and, it's just a phenomenal feeling. But, back to a little bit of why I think this was so, as far as for me, a personal weekend that, ranks as probably my best one ever,
right?
Even right there with the World 100 maybe over, is the fact that, we ran 3 nights this year, and we ran a third, a second, and a first over those 90-car fields in 3 nights. It wasn't like we won one, we were, something happened and we got in and won the race. we were able to be consistent all weekend with it, and we improved every night. Third, second, first. It's kind of like everything fell right into place.
And, of course, it was a great birthday present for your car owner and another well-respected man in the world of dirt racing that I know very well, Mr. Barry Wright from Gaffney, South Carolina.
Yeah, I told Barry, we were talking about it when we kind of got together, and I said, naturally, Barry wants to win the World 100. He's never been fortunate enough. He's won the Dream quite a few times with and with Bloomquist and some of them, but he's never won the World 100. His car has won, but not him as the car owner has won it. And he said, that's the one I want. I want that Globe Trophy. I said, I want the North-South 100 because it's my home state. I've led that race a couple times, very, very late in it.
Right.
The other one I want Knoxville. I said, I want Knoxville. I said, I want to win Knoxville. So, to be able to accomplish, we got all the way to third for the world for Barry, and had a couple of things happen right there at the end of the race, and wound up finishing sixth. But had a shot at it anyway, and then to come back and be able to win Knoxville, really, just kind of the icing on the cake. We were fortunate we won another one of the crown jewels. We won the top 100 this year, so. Those are two races that I had never won and two races that Barry had never won, and now we both have those trophies.
Very cool. I'm a little curious, Steve. You're fourth in Lucas points, but you're 600 and some points behind Owens. Is it pretty much a foregone conclusion that Owens is going to be a champ again this year?
If he don't get sick and miss the next couple of races, he's the champion. And he done just. I think he's got. I don't know if he's got 4 or 5 wins, but I think at one point he had finished something like 98% of the laps run this year, or 99% of the laps run this year. And, that's how you win a championship. Not only do you have to win the races, but you have to be there at the end of all the races. And, him and his team have put that together and know exactly how to do that.
Steve, I have a question from one of the guys in our chat room here. They want to know, how many tires did you go through in the weekend at Knoxville? Because I know late model guys, they tend to go through quite a few sets, whether the Hoosier LM10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. They just want to know roughly how many tires did you guys go through?
We ran all of our qualifying and all of our heat races on the same 4 tires for Thursday night and Friday night's event. We had a used set of the standard 1600s that we ran Thursday night and Friday night in the feature, same tires, and we did put 3 brand new tires on for the race. Which none of all the tires there, we blistered one right rear tire a little bit on Friday night. That's the only tire that we threw away. Everything else we washed and cleaned up, and we'll run again someplace.
Definitely on the program.
Knoxville was just easy on tires this weekend. It was icy, slippery, never any abrasion. So it was just kind of easy on tires for us all weekend.
Very, very weird weather conditions at Knoxville this time of year up there, wasn't it, Steve? I mean, normally it starts to get kind of cool. It actually felt pretty damn good up there.
Yeah, it was really nice during the day. You wear shorts and stuff during the day, and time the races got over, that 11:30, 12 o'clock, you want some jeans and maybe a long sleeve shirt or a sweatshirt on, but really, really pleasant weather. Beautiful skies, no rain. That was the main thing. No rain all weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, the $40,000 winner of the 9th edition of the Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals on Saturday night. Of course, Billy Moyer, Mr. Smooth at Batesville, Arkansas, won the Thursday night portion of it. And the Winfield Warrior out of Winfield, Tennessee, Mike Marlar, won Friday's show. But, of course, the big one was Saturday night, 100 laps, $40,000 to win, and the Kentucky Colonel, Steve Francis, got that. Where did that nickname come from, Steve?
I actually am an honorary Kentucky Colonel in the state of Kentucky. I got that when I won my first Stars Championship back in '94. A couple of race fans got together and went to the governor of the state and, kind of told him what we had done and stuff like that, so they made me a Kentucky Colonel. So that's actually not only just a nickname, that's kind of, I am actual Kentucky Colonel.
I thought it might have had something to do with KFC chicken.
No, that has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Just kind of an honorary thing. It's pretty neat. A lot of the governors, I think Neil Armstrong was one. There's a lot of people. If you go through that list of people on there, which got done it a few years back, and was really impressed, you know, with a lot of the names that are on that. A lot of war heroes on there, you know, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That is very cool. I'm curious, Steve, the track surface at Knoxville, it just looks different from about any other racetrack you go to. Is the actual dirt and the surface you're racing on much different from most of the other tracks the Lucas Series goes to?
Yeah, Knoxville, you know, it has that black, I guess you call it Iowa dirt on it, but, you know, there's no rock in that racetrack whatsoever. No sand in that racetrack. It's just straight black clay, and, you know, that track crew out there that they really understand their surface. You know, the grader operator, you know, if he gets a little bit of spot wet and realizes he's not getting too big a cushion, they go out and fix it right then. You know, they make sure you're able to race on the place all the time. And really, a lot of promoters through the country probably ought to go watch a big event in Knoxville and watch just how they do everything and how they understand what's happening with their racetrack. You know, we all stand back here in the pit area and, oh, they've overwatered it today, or, oh, they've got it too hard today. You know, we're not going to race very good. And when it's all over and said and done, you know, like I said, you can start 30th and win there. You know, the best car always wins in Knoxville, it seems like.
Absolutely, definitely. And, of course, he was the best car over the weekend. I got a question. Could somebody that started in the fast track route, you know, the routes, and had a great career, Jonathan Davenport, Superman out of Blairsville, Georgia. I know him very, very well. He is now your teammate at the Barry Wright Racing Car Stations. And then, of course, well, let me clarify that. He did it last year, and then he has joined Clint Boyer Racing, but they still drive the Barry Wright car. Talk about the relationship that you had with a young man like Davenport and then the veteran behind-the-wheel skills that you have, Steve, and where you think he's going to go in his career.
Oh, I think Jonathan's going to go a long way in his career. You know, he's a very, very smart racer as far as, you know, he tries to really understand his race car right now and try to understand all the, you know, the shock adjustments and the, you know, the different spring packages and the trailing rods and what's going to happen when he does this. And he's actually really good about saying, you know, my car does this at this point right here or that at that point right there, and I need to fix this. You know, a lot of people have been kind of down on JD this year because, you know, him and Barry had a lot of success together, you know, in that regional area down there and won a lot of races, and he hasn't had that success yet this year. But what a lot of people haven't realized is also, I think he told me he'd been at 30 racetracks that he'd never ever seen in his life. You know, this is JD's first time being out on the road, so to speak, if that's the right way to word it.
Right, yeah.
Him and Barry might go to Cedar Lake, or they might go to Eldora, you know, when he was driving for Barry.
Yes.
But they didn't go to
all over the country
one week and Grand City, Illinois the next weekend, and Knoxville, Iowa the next weekend, and I-80 in Greenwood, Nebraska. You know, they didn't. And all those surfaces have something a little different and require something a little different, you know, from the driver, the motor combination, just the whole thing, the shock package, everything. And he's building him a notebook, and that's what, you know, learning what he wants to do to his cars to get better at those places. And he's going to be fine. You know, Jonathan's, 28, 29 years old, 30 years old. You know, he's got a whole lot of time left here to go race. You know, everybody kind of just needs to give him a little chance to get his feet back under him, you know, and understand traveling and how much different it is out there on the road.
Definitely. And again, you know, it's just one of those. Yeah, I saw you a couple of weeks ago, Steve, at Virginia Motor Speedway for the USA 100. And again, we broadcasted the modified portion with me and Russ Miles up there. The car count. Why was the car count from a? We talked to James Essex, the voice of Lucas, from an official side of things or a sanction and body side of things, from the driver's point of view. Why was the car count so low for that event for 20,000 to win, and then you got 90 cars for 40,000 at Knoxville Raceway? Is it the venue? I mean, because Virginia Motor Speedway.
I've got about three different opinions on why the car count was down there.
Well, go ahead and throw them out. Go ahead.
I think fans and racers themselves are kind of over the 2-day, 20,000 to win 100-lap race. You know, I think our crown jewel events, you know, the select 15 races, 12 races, 10 races a year, whatever, need to be the 2-day events, you know. And I think they need to, you know, I think a lot of the other 20,000 events kind of almost get looked at as another show. That's from the fan side of that. As a racer side of that, we spend 2 days there, and if I have a flat tire on lap 10 or, well, just like I got, you know, I led the race. I won the qualifier night. I led the race, I don't know, 20 laps or 15 laps or whatever, and broke a corner off the nose and wound up on another tire and spun myself out. So I spent all weekend there, and I left there with under $2,000.
Right. Yeah.
So as a racer, you can go Friday night for a run for 2,000 or 3,000, and then you can go Saturday night and run for 2,000 or 3,000. You know, and I've got 2 opportunities to make money. Saluda does an excellent job of paying their purses and you know, putting money up.
Yeah.
We all thought Saluda was a 2-day 100-lap race. So none of us even
So did I.
that was only a 50-lapper with a 25-lap qualifier.
Right. 2 25-lap qualifiers on Friday night.
We ran 75 laps for the 20,000 to win 100-lap purse, but nobody knew that. Everybody thought it was a 100-lapper plus a 25-lap qualifier. So as a regional racer, he's looking at putting, you know, 140, 50, 60 laps on his motor, and that makes it kind of tough. You know, because Saluda, you need a good race car, you need a good motor.
Right.
Saluda has been known to be a little bit aggressive on tires.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, well, I'm going to get a set in the 25-lap qualifier, and I'm going to get a set in the race. So I'm 8 tires in now. I put all these laps on my motor. You know, and you know, there's a few racetracks around that scheduled right on top of him this year that tried to hurt him, and they did. You know, with their 3,000 and 5,000 wins, you know, it gave the races options to go to. That's kind of the reasons I think that race didn't come off. You know, Knoxville had 80 cars, but you ran Friday night or Thursday night for 7,000. You ran Friday night for 7,000. You ran Saturday night for 40,000.
How much did you get for starting on Thursday and Friday night? Just curious, at Knoxville.
1,000 to start?
No, I think those are like 500 to start, and then 2,500 to Saturday.
Okay.
So just
Gotcha.
in the races, you know, if you made all 3 races, you're 3,500 to the good. You know, you've made 3,500.
Definitely.
You know, that ain't bad money. You know what I mean? You know, if you had 3 bad nights, you got 3,500 just getting a race.
Right. Right.
They put some good money back through the races. You know, you go to the Commonwealth race at Virginia, and it has that qualifier money.
Right. 3,000 to win for non-qualifiers.
Race,
Yep.
stuff like that. And that race has 40 cars.
Right. Yeah. Do you think it's the location? Is it the location where the track
Location.
is? Do you think it's
Location hurts it a little bit because there's no regional late models within 250 miles or 200 miles of the place.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to go to like Hagerstown to find Hagerstown, Winchester, Virginia area to find late models. So, you know, they've got to draw those cars from that area, and then when they schedule a race up in that area on top of it, that hurts you, that 8 or 9 cars.
definitely, definitely.
You know, that makes it look the other, you know, makes it look that way. You know, the Sawyers have always done an excellent job with, you know, with their purses. I think everybody's really, really pleased with the Commonwealth and the way it's all run and the whole way that thing works out. I'm not the biggest fan of 2-day 20,000 to win 100-lap races. You know, like I say, I would rather run 2 10,000s at 2 different venues, or, you know, 2
2 nights in a row.
Same venue. Yeah, whatever. You know, I think Mr. Sawyer and a whole bunch would have been better off there if they'd run 2 50-lappers and paid 10,000 each.
Absolutely. Yeah, double main event.
You know, that way a guy didn't you know, necessarily have to bank everything on everything going right for that 100-lappers on 100-lap on Saturday night.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, Steve, buddy, we have got a lot more guests. I'd love to have you on here. We could stay on all night long and talk about dirt track racing and where you know your career has gone and the great victories you've had, and you're one of the most well-respected names in dirt late model racing. You ever thought about doing the NASCAR bit? Never?
We had an opportunity when I won the World 100 back in '99. The Caterpillar truck team was based out of my hometown here, the one Travis Quapple won the championship with in 2000.
Yeah.
that ride was offered to me, and we actually done a little bit of testing and stuff, and I thought a little bit about it, but at that time, the Truck Series didn't look like where you wanted to go if you wanted to go, go on.
Right.
And I just kind of was really enjoying the dirt thing at that time, and kind of hung that end of it up, and decided that I liked racing dirt. I was making a good living racing dirt, and I didn't know if you go to that truck thing and it doesn't work, or the Busch thing or whatever, it doesn't seem like it seems like it's really hard to come back and be good on dirt again.
Right.
The Ben Hess, Jeff Purvis guys that have done that seem like they never could get excited about coming back to the dirt again, and dirt racing still excites me, so that's what I wanted to do. So I decided I'd just stay where I was at and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Buddy.
Are you coming to the World Finals, brother?
Oh, yeah, he'll be there.
We're going to run all 3 Charlotte races. The rest of our schedule is Dixie Rome this weekend, Charlotte Wednesday, Why Not Mississippi on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Which is the Dirt Track World Championship.
The Dirt Track World Championship. The World Finals, Phoenix City, Alabama, and then we're calling it a year until I've got to be in Australia on Christmas Day to start racing there.
What about County Line Raceway? You heard about that track in Elm City and the 10,000 to win race there on the weekend after the World Finals?
I think we had already committed to go to Phoenix. I had heard something about a 10,000 there in North Carolina. Didn't know where or what. Barry had said something about it, but between his cars and me, we've won the Phoenix City National 100 the last 3 years in a row.
Right.
JD's won it twice, and I won it once and run second the other year. So we kind of committed to go to that thing, early on in the year, and the Thomas family's done good for us down there, and treat us well down there. So we kind of already made that commitment before that race came up on the schedule.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, buddy, throw out your sponsors on your car before we let you go. Kentucky Colonel Steve Francis.
Well, Valvoline's been with me a lot of years, and they're kind of a home-based company, but they've been with me a lot of years, and really appreciate everything that Valvoline's done for me. Naturally, the Barry Wright race cars, Clements Race Engine, AES Racing, Mathis Farms, Nichols Plumbing, Hoosier Tires, Kaiser Wheels, PRC. We got a lot of product. JRI Shocks. We've got a lot of product people that really help us, and without them, it'd be really hard to do this.
Absolutely, definitely. Steve, thank you, buddy, for being on the program. God bless you, and we'll see you at a racetrack near you very soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is the driver, the number 15, the winner of the Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals, and what he says is his crown jewel victory ever. Wants to win the world. Barry Wright, Mr. Suspenders, wants to win the World 100. Who don't, Mike Neff?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to win, I mean, and I agree with him that Knoxville will probably overtake the world eventually, but it's going to be a few years down the road yet, and they're still going to have to pay a whole bunch of money if they're really going to try to overtake it. But having 90 cars show up is a heck of a start.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Rich Bickle, NASCAR sensational driver, winner of the World Short Track Challenge at Rockford Speedway in, Rockford, Ohio, or Connecticut?
That'd be Rockford, Illinois, brother.
Illinois. Rockford Speedway. And Rich Bickle, former NASCAR truck driver and nationwide. Well, he ran it all, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did. He's after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And then to close out the program, Pietro Fittipaldi, young sensation, winner of the Hickory Fall Brawl. And remember, are you mobile? Get the app on etv-eplay.net. And, of course, also get it on Tuned In Radio. And we do apologize. It's not on tonight for some reason. Our executive producer, J.D. Webb, normally handles that, but we'll get it back and going very shortly. So we'll be back right after the break. Don't go nowhere.
If you're in the dirt, then grab a cold one, sit down, shut up, and strap in, cowboys. Sunday nights on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio, Sim Pro Racing features the Lucas Oil Power Eye Midgets. Pro drivers from all over straddling 600 horsepower of lean, mean, dirt-slinging machines every Sunday night live at 9:20 p.m. on the Dirt Channel at ETV Live and ETV Live Radio, etv-eplay.net. Do it or stay home. Over the next 10 weeks, 10 tracks, 10 drivers, and over 20,000 horsepower. In the end, one champion. Live on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio, Real Sim Racing 2011 Full Throttle Cup Series, Chase to the Checkers. Sponsored by BobRollRacing.com. Don't miss this one. Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio. ETV-eplay.net, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and Windows Media Guide. We'll see you there.
Fever. Intense. NASCAR racing experience. The authentic racing experience. Packages start at just $329. Thrilling. Yeah! The rush. The NASCAR racing experience. Call 1-877-RACE-LAP today.
Or 650. Yeah, 7. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the October 1st and my birthday. Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wesley. Happy birthday to you.
You know what my mom and dad did to me? I'll see if I can try to find it. I'll play it for you. You'll laugh your tail off. Anyhow, it's the Winner Is Motorsports Show. I am Wesley Outland. Mike Neff is in the house, and he is the racing devil. He is the racing devil, Mike Neff. And the Goat Roper Motorsports just
it's it's the nickname that's sweeping the country. The Goat Roper of racing.
Goat Roper might behind. I'll tell you guys what. Goat Roping ain't nothing I ain't never done nor care to do, so drop it.
Oh my God. Hey, look. Hey, this is your chance out there at ETV Live Land, okay? This is your chance to vote. What?
Let's put up a poll.
Should be.
Should Justin's nickname be Goat Roper or anything else?
I call him the Michigan Madman of racing or something. Anyhow, this is your...
I'm sticking with Goat Roper until it gets voted down.
Well, let me tell you something, Mike. You're not on a very lot of people's fan list with the smack you talk about racing.
I'm sorry.
Well, how about this
Still
guy?
a game.
How about we go with the Midwest Madman? How about that?
No, can't do that. I think that's Dan Schleeper's name, the Wisconsin Wildman or Madman. The Midwest Madman? I don't know.
Or Michigan Madman, but that's kind of stepping on Ted Nugent a little bit.
Ted Nugent, no, he'll sue us. We can't.
No, he'd be all right with
it. We'll have cat scratch fever when it's over with.
Forget that. Great White Buffalo.
What?
Great White Buffalo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, true.
You kidding me?
Let's go to John's being a smartass in our box. He says at least his mic works right. Yeah, that's good. At least Justin's mic is working good now. I think it's going from week to week. Justin's was messed up last week. Now mine's kind of going AWOL. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Set it up the same way. It's Facebook, Mike. Facebook. They updated everything. They changed everything.
Facebook ruins everything.
Facebook. No, let's go to the phone lines, and we are going to call Rich Bickle. If I can get the number, please send it in the chat box. And we'll have
oh, geez. Hang on.
Program in just a couple of...
Memento. I'm getting there. I got to type his name into my phone, and I got to type it into the box. I'm typing. Hang on.
Bickle on the program, and then I remember watching Rich when I was a kid on television, and this guy has got personality, Mike Neff. Tell everybody about the story that we were talking about last night.
Dude cracked me up. I got his contact information from a good friend of mine, Kevin Ramsel, who is the PR guy for the ASA series and also does PR work at Rockford, which is where the Short Track World Championships took place this past weekend. And so I saw that Bickle had won, so I sent my buddy Kevin a text and said, hey, can you give me Bickle's info? He sends me Bickle's number. So I sent him a text. Hey, buddy, you know, this is Mike Neff. I co-host a radio show. We'd love to have you on to celebrate your second win in the Short Track World Championship deal. Let me know if you can be on. So he sends back a text, who's this? He says, call me. So I call him, and I'm like, where are you at? And this is pretty late at night. I mean, 10 o'clock or so at night. The race was in the afternoon.
Right.
And he's like, I'm still at Rockford Speedway. I'm like, what are you doing there? I figured you'd be hauling home already. He's like, oh, heck no, the party's just now getting started.
Call has been forwarded. forwarded to an automatic.
I hate when it happens. The only problem may be that he said we was leaving in the morning, headed down to St. Louis to pick up some stuff, and then headed on this way back to the Charlotte area. And he may be coming through the mountains or something where the reception's a little spotty. So that would be the only thing that might happen here is we may not get him because he'll be going through the mountains.
Strike one.
Strike one. You get 3, and then you're done.
Let's just hope Wesley doesn't blow up like he did the last time he had the 3 strikes and out.
Yeah, no doubt. Totally embarrassing himself in front of God and everybody because his buddy was on another phone call.
Yeah, really. Ryan Blaney?
It's embarrassing. But it's all good.
To bring that up now. No, I remember watching this gentleman back in my younger days before picking up a mic and doing announcing in PR. Rich Bickle, how you doing, my friend?
Great, yourself?
Oh, I be the partying type, man. According to Mike Neff, you were partying at the race after you won at Rockford.
Yeah, we got out there about midnight and got before and did some work at my facility up there in Madison, and we drove to St. Louis to pick up some equipment, so it's been a long day.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the line, a veteran motorsports driver, Rich Bickle. Rich, how did you get started in racing, man, and what led you to run in NASCAR and the All-Pro Series and the Pro Cup Series, the Hooters Pro Cup, or what now used to be the Hooters, Hooters Pro Cup Tour? Now it's like some kind of Rev Oil program or something. It's nothing like it used to be, but in its heyday, you were a part of it, and what are you doing nowadays, man? Congratulations on winning the short track world championship at Rockford, Illinois, over the weekend.
Well, just moved back up here about 6 years ago, and kind of got out of NASCAR, and or should I say, got aged out, and so we come back up here and raced 4 or 5, 6 races a year, for the last 4 or 5 years. Well, then this year we ran about 25 races, and we've been really, really good. I built one of my old cars that I built way back in the early 90s, and everybody's got this new technology, but, I think my old stuff is just as fast, not faster than this new stuff. So we've been pretty fast all year, and I was pretty fortunate. I had a great day, and won it in 1990 and won it in 2012, so 22 years apart. It's a long time, but feels pretty good.
That is pretty freaking cool, brother. Now, who all did you beat this year that was up there running for this deal? How many cars were there, and name some of the names that you knocked off?
There was 29 cars, and as far as people know, Eddie Hoffman was there, and a new kid from the same town I'm from, was 20 years old. He come back and got second, crushed me pretty hard there at the end. Casey Johnson, Steve Apple, that's the runner-up point champion at Slinger. Steve Rubeck, my buddy, finished third. So there's quite a few cars. I mean, there's a lot of guys there that won there. Eddie's won it a lot of times. So there's been guys that's, been around a long time. Michael Bilderbeck had fast time. He was quick. And so there's a lot of guys there. It's a good show. Beautiful day. Beautiful weekend for a change.
Justin Rose now.
Rich, congratulations on your win. You said something about getting aged out. I mean, was it really just like you turned a certain number and then people in NASCAR just kind of turned a cold shoulder to you? Or was it just kind of one of them things where you get older and then you just feel like you just want to move on, start settling down, and start doing some of the not touring so much, staying home and staying local and just running the local short tracks again?
Oh, I think the worst thing is, NASCAR races come into just all the money and how much you can bring to the table to get a ride. And it has nothing to do with talent anymore, and it just frustrated.
Right,
amen. That direction, and I just, there's enough guys that are out there that were still hanging around, out there riding around collecting a paycheck, and I'm too damn competitive. If I can't run up front and try to win races, I'm not going to ride around collecting a paycheck. And so I just said, see you later. It's been great. I'll go back home with my dad, and I've gone for 18 years. Went back there, and I decided to start racing a little bit more this summer. And it's been a good time. We're going to run a ton next year, because next I think I'm going to hang it up after that, and I'm going to go up north and go fishing.
I was going to say, sorry, Wesley, but we got some good fishing up here. I look forward to seeing you up here. Possibly, do you have any plans like running any of the bigger events, via, Pass North, CRA, any of them guys, especially making your way up here where I live here in Michigan for the Rowdy 251 next year?
Well, we might come and do some more stuff. It just depends what schedule works out. I'm planning around maybe 60, 70 shows next year.
Wow.
In the farewell tour. And, you know, it ain't like the old days, he's throwing 120 a year, but, you know, there'll still be quite a few. And you know, working on some stuff sponsor-wise, and I think it's a pretty neat year for us. You know, I'm just glad I got one of my old cars back together.
Rich, what is your thoughts of NASCAR from where it was back then? And I know you were talking about the drivers and the talent, how that's all changed, and money talks and BS walks, like I guess everybody says in them quotes today. And then that's being professionally speaking. But what is your overall thoughts of NASCAR or professional racing and where it's going, where it's heading, where it used to be, and where you're seeing it go with the way things are now?
Well, you know, I kind of look back and I thought 1998 was the last decent year they had. They you know, they had a 5-inch valence, a 5-inch spoiler, and you had to drive the race car then. And now, they turned the car back to all aerodynamics. And when Matt Kenseth told me here a few years ago they were in Michigan, they took a 30-second shim out of the front shock and lost 7/10 of a second. I wanted to throw up. You know, and it's like, you know, that's not racing. All they're doing is racing air, and I disagree with that whole process of racing. You know, the mechanical side of racing is gone. It's all, you know, the aero side, and you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, they went in that direction. I just thought it was definitely the wrong way to go, but you know, it's their game, their ball, and their court, so you got to play by the rules.
Definitely.
Or you can go back to the Midwest and run local short tracks and have a great time. Did you get a chance to run at Milwaukee with the ASA this year?
No, actually, my mom passed away around that time, and I come back up and run one of my friends. You just see his race. He passed away last year, so I come back and run that. I went back to North Carolina and was with her for the last couple of weeks. So I was down there. That we left that Sunday and went back down there, so I didn't get to run that race.
Gotcha.
Now, Rich, do you like running super late models, or are we going to see you in all kinds of different cars, supers, late model stocks, limited late models? We're going to see you try to go to Martinsville, Snowball Derby, etc.
Well, I got I got a great record, the Derby. I mean, I've won it 5 out of 10 times I've entered it.
Absolutely.
And I've been talking to them the last couple of years about run the LS motor down there, as that's one of the motor programs right now. Up until right now, they haven't, let it run. So I'm not going to go out to another car, just go out and run that one race. But just mainly, the super late model stuff. I built a new outlaw car 3 years ago and took to Michigan and Indiana to run it. And then after I raced 3 times, they outlawed me with that car. So, it's sitting there, brand new race car. I really can't race anywhere except the one series over there, but don't pay enough to come over there to run it. So I'm going to probably tear that thing apart, maybe stick another super late model together.
Or if anybody is interested on the show listening and you want to buy a good race car that's got a good motor but just gets outlawed at any series, contact Rich Bickle.
That's the part I don't get. If it's an outlaw late model, how do they outlaw it?
Well, they had 18 rules in the whole class, and after I run 3 races, they made 19, and they outlawed my motor setback.
Wow.
Car. It was like, really, I come over to put a show on and have fun racing, and you guys say after I spend $75,000 to build a car, they outlawed me. So I'm like, well, whatever.
That's
if you don't want competition, I'll stay home.
Definitely.
Cool. Now, any chance we'll see you getting into some kind of a dirt thing, maybe?
Well, I actually was going to drive Brad Miller's dirt car up there at Chilton, Wisconsin this year. I've never drove a dirt car, except I had a grudge match against Scott Hansen and IMC Modified way back when. And I was kind of looking forward to do it, and then the race got canceled. So maybe next year I'll run one dirt show and see how that goes. I've been racing snowmobiles in the wintertime. It's something new.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Speaking of running snowmobiles, Rich, are you running that deal up in Sault Ste. Marie that runs around the first of the year?
No, that's that whatever race. No, this is a ice oval deal. It's called Outlaw 600. It's pretty cool. It looks like a sprint car, but it's on snow. Or basically ice. You race on ice, not snow. But it's we went last year. I actually won the oldest snowmobile race in the world in my class last year up at the Beausejour, Canada, and it felt pretty cool.
So
nice. I saw those on Lucas Oil on the Edge this year. They were running them. And it basically looks like a dirt sprint car, but it's a snowmobile.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I wish they had that in North Carolina.
They were up there and taped the one show last time. I got wrecked really bad, so I didn't even get the race.
I wish
that stinks.
That'd be cool to have.
And there aren't a whole lot of places in North Carolina where you can race snowmobiles, Wesley. You'd pretty much have to go up to Boone where they're making snow just to be able to do it.
You can go to the mountain.
Go to the ice rink.
Yeah, we have it inside the arenas.
There you go. Indoor snowmobile racing. I'm into it.
For the winter. So I mean, seriously, I mean, it's a great venue. I mean, you know, you probably get what, eighth of a mile out of the rink. So why not just you know, throw them all up there and let them have at it.
Promoters and try to create something out of this deal.
There you go. We got to start negotiating. Rich, any chance you're running any series next year, or are you just going to go around and have some fun? Are you thinking about ASA Midwest or anything like that?
As far as the series right now, we're working on some sponsor stuff, but right now I'm kind of going to concentrate, maybe run a couple track championships and just finish my career off doing that. So depends what happens.
Very nice. What's your home track going to be?
Oh, I mean, I got, you know, I can race 5 tracks around my area, but I'll probably run the Madison deal. You know, they got the Dells, they got the Kaukauna on Thursday night and Slinger on Sunday night, so I think I'm going to be pretty busy running all them tracks next season.
Definitely, definitely. Well, man, we got Scoot. We got another guest we got to get lined up. Pietro Fittipaldi, who won at Hickory, another young up-and-coming star in the world of racing. But, Rich, man, always an honor to have you on the program. Thank you for being on tonight. And, man, give them hell. Go to Victory Lane again, and we'll have you on here one more time. Before we let you go, Rich, throw out your sponsors on your car.
You know, we got Vintage Grills and Perlick out of Milwaukee, and you know, my main guys, and Wagner Automotive has always built me great motors all my life. So I got to thank Carl and the boys at the Motor Shop.
Absolutely, the racing goat raper of mayhem, Justin Rose. Now, anything else?
I don't know what it is about you and Go Roping, but Rich, I certainly wish you luck. It was fun to watch you growing up. You know, running the Craftsman Truck Series out west from the beginning till, you know, right up here about a few years ago here. But you know, hope to see you around here in my parts next year, and hopefully we'll get to meet up at a place like Berlin or somewhere here in the Midwest, and we'll get to hang out and shoot the stuff here one of these times.
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Mike Neff, again, a great driver talent right there. Rich Pickle from Charlotte, North Carolina. That was all over the country. And, man, I remember watching that guy. I remember watching that man when I was a kid. And he was a nut on camera, and I think he might have just had a little hangover from partying last night.
It's possible. I mean, that he's probably just tired from driving around all day. But he's a fun dude, and I miss having personalities like him and Dick Trickle, and you know, absolutely, even to go back to Curtis Turner and David Pearson and Cale Yarborough and guys like that. That you just don't get in the sport anymore. And that's why I truly believe Brad Keselowski is a breath of fresh air in the sport, because he tells it like it is, and he pulls no punches. And
same damn thing about Kyle Busch, too. We're ringing the bell. We're going to have my birthday fight of the night. Brad is nothing but a marketing guru, okay? Just like Kyle Busch, just like any of them pansies.
Have you looked at the points?
What is it, 1 point now he's got over Jimmy Johnson? Or
I believe it's 5, but I could be mistaken. I thought it was 1, but somebody told me they looked on NASCAR this morning and it was 5.
Fuck-ass race that was at Dover on, you know, yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to tell you guys right now, as far as the whole NASCAR thing goes, I haven't paid attention to but maybe 1, maybe 2 NASCAR races in probably the last 5 years. They're all boring as hell, and they're all trying to sell you something. The only personality that's even close to being a personality, in my opinion, is Junior, but, you know, that's getting to be a little bit overplayed now. But seriously, as far as Keselowski goes, I am not a big fan of him. He's just another guy that toes the line to me. He just doesn't stand out to me as being that big of a personality.
Really?
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Junior's about as far down the personality list as they come. I mean, he's a nice guy, but he's not somebody that's like outgoing and outspoken at all. Where Keselowski will tell you like it is,
I know
how it is.
What I'm saying though is Dale Jr. Everybody thought Dale could do what his dad could do. Not gonna happen.
No,
can't happen.
There's only been probably 3 moments in Junior's career, seriously, that has mimicked anything that his dad was ever able to do. in that 2001 Pepsi 400 race, that was the only time at Daytona outside of the 2004 Daytona 500 that I actually seen Dale Jr. do the same things that his dad did. Those are probably the only two moments that I've seen, and it's just been on plate tracks only.
And still to this day, many people, even though they're paying their respects to Dale Earnhardt, Mike, they think that was rigged.
Oh, yeah.
That it was staged. When Earnhardt Jr. came back to Daytona and drove the Wrangler #3 car for the one and only time that you'll see it, he won.
Yeah, I don't necessarily buy that one. I know there's people that say that one.
Right.
But I don't know. It may have been. Who knows? The one in 2001, I think, had a greater chance of being staged. Yeah. I mean, just because of that move he made to come from 6th to 1st by himself at the end of the race was pretty insane. And I'll never claim that it was fixed, but I can understand people's belief that it was fixed. But I don't know. Keselowski, he calls it like he sees it. He races hard. He races really hard, but he's not into dumping people for wins.
I know that, but I mean, he did put Carl Edwards in the fence. You know, you forget about that big rivalry last year between him and Carl Edwards, 2010. Wrecking each other, flipping each other at Atlanta.
I mean, that was a pretty nasty
wreck. Carl that did the flipping.
And to top it off, Keselowski and Denny Hamlin. You really want to talk about the mixture of ingredients for disaster in the championship chase? I think it's going to be friggin' great. Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski have no love lost for one another either.
No, but Denny's going to have to. Denny's going to have to be relevant by the end of the thing for it to matter.
Denny Hamlin put his ass in the wall at Homestead and said, I'm going to make a point to do it. NASCAR's not going to do nothing to him. I'm going to show you. And they wrecked him. And then it comes to the radio, NASCAR, we're parking Denny Hamlin. Denny's like, I don't care. I got my justification out of the whole deal.
Yeah. Exactly. That's personality to me. I mean, the only Keselowski that I've actually ever been able to enjoy personally is Bob Keselowski. I don't enjoy Brian. I don't enjoy Brad. I cannot stand those two. For some reason or other, I absolutely cannot. For some reason in my life, without saying bad words on the radio, there's something about me that just rubs me the wrong way. Bob Keselowski, to me, he's an all right dude in my book.
Absolutely. We're going to take one more quick...
I was just going to say, we need to get Pietro on here before we run out of time.
Troy Fittipaldi, he's related to Emerson Fittipaldi somehow or down the line, isn't he?
I believe it's his nephew, but I may be wrong on it.
Out the secrets. We'll be right back. Pietro Fittipaldi, winner of the Pepsi Fall Brawl from Hickory Motor Speedway. After the break. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Don't forget, chase number 3 at Dover, the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. And the battle for the Bob Earl race seat continues. Me and Michael Keaton in the booth. Dakota Ehrman and Joshua Harvinson on pit road. That is at 9:20 tonight on ETV Live Radio.
Coming up tonight live on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio, Real Sim Racing's Full Throttle Cup Series. Join Michael Keaton and Devin Smirker from the booth with reports and live updates from Pit Road by Dakota Ehrman and the ETV Live Pit Road crew. Live on ETV Live tonight at 9:20 p.m. on the Star Car Channel on ETV Live Radio, Real Sim Racing's Full Throttle Cup Series, etv-eplay.net. We'll see you there.
Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, conveniently located off of intersection I-81 and I-77 in Wytheville, Virginia. Services all of Southwest Virginia in residential, farms, recreational, and commercial properties. The company is owned by Jason and Judy Short. Judy has been in the real estate market for over 15 years and is the broker of Shortway Real Estate. And they have 2 of the top agents in Southwest Virginia. Their goal is simple: to provide the best customer service and build business on repeat clients. You can get pre-approvals in less than 20 minutes. They have many properties located on over 300 websites nationwide. You can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for customer service guaranteed. And guess what? Licensed in Virginia, they can show you any property listed in the Commonwealth state. They're located at 1205 East Main Street in Wytheville, Virginia. For more details, call 276-2 276-223-4018. That's 276-223-4018. Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, reminding you, take the short way home. Hey, welcome back to the program. I am Wesley Outland, the ringmaster of motorsports. Ring the bell, John Wesley, Fast Track, Magic Fingers, whatever you want to call him. The racing devil in the house at Cadapolis, Mike Neff. And the Midwestern Michigan race man, Justin Rose.
That dude from Michigan.
Yeah, otherwise known as the Master of Mayhem, but I'm perfectly fine with what you just said there, Wesley. It's better than anything Goat Roper that Mike Neff can come up with. Jesus.
We gotta have a poll up for that, I'm telling you.
Speaking of this is what I was going to play. Listen to this.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Dude, what are you doing? We got 6 minutes left to have Pietro on, and you're playing some kind of...
I wanted you to hear it because they had done a mixture of Happy Birthday and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood all at the same time.
Gotcha.
We have 16 minutes left because we missed 10 minutes and it wasn't our fault.
But yeah, but the show ends at 8.
I know. Oh, let's see here. Talk about Pietro Fittipaldi while I call him boss.
Pietro Fittipaldi, grandson of Emerson Fittipaldi, making his way up through the NASCAR ranks. Ran his first full season in late models at Hickory Motor Speedway this year. Was in limited late models last year. He runs a Performance Center Warehouse LTO chassis. Part of the group out there that, for whatever reason, they do really well at Hickory. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, they run pretty well other places, but
do not.
Hickory's kind of their background and their neighborhood, and the Performance Center guys run pretty well there.
Oh, okay. Pietro Fittipaldi, gonna have on the show here now. Winner at Hickory, the Fall Brawl, the Pepsi Fall Brawl. How young is this kid?
He is 15.
15 years old, out of Davidson, North Carolina. Pietro Fittipaldi. Hope I said your name right, buddy. Congratulations on your win at Hickory.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me here.
Dude, talk about your racing career, and what is it like to have the racing name of some of the great drivers of the sport like Emerson Fittipaldi and company?
It's just an honor, you know. Having, like, my grandfather, I'm just so lucky to have him. You call me helps me, you know, having the name, so it's just an honor.
Definitely, it's like the interview like we had Mike and Justin with Nelson Piquet Jr. His dad, Nelson Piquet Sr., a respected three-time Formula One champion. And Emerson Fittipaldi was a great IndyCar driver, Formula One driver also at his time, too.
Pietro, did you start out in Bandoleros?
No, I actually started out in go-karts, like racing at road courses, like go-kart tracks, but on a road course I've never driven an oval until 2010, where I did 2 limited late model races, and then 2011 I did the whole season, won the championship, and then now this year.
And this was your first late model win. I know you'd won some limited races last year, but your first late model win comes in probably Hickory's biggest late model race of the year. How'd you manage pulling that off?
Oh, yeah, I've been just testing and practicing, and the team just worked so hard. You know, Falk Racing, Michael Falk, you know, all the guys there. We're just working so hard and improving almost every weekend. And we came last race at Hickory, biggest race, and we knew we had a good car for the long race. The only strategy was pretty much save tires, not push it too hard in the beginning, and then push it at the end with around 50 to go. So we're able to save the tires as much as possible, and we're in the perfect position to get the lead.
I mean,
K&N Racing, what are you planning on doing?
Hello?
Hey, Pietro, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. I saw how I lost you. Are you running late models again next year? Are you going K&N Racing or something else?
It all depends right now, but the plans right now is to race one more year in the late model series at at Hickory and do like 6 or 7 races out of the tracks. So that's the thing we're gonna do. Maybe test some K&N cars and see how I do.
Very nice. Are you going to try and run Martinsville here next month? Actually, it's this month now.
Well, no, we're not doing that. We're trying to race at Rockingham with the UARA series at November 3rd, I think it is.
Yes, November the 2nd and 3rd.
Very nice.
Season finale for the UARA Stars, actually.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I have a question for you, Pietro. This deals more with what we're going to do here a little bit later here on ETV, Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. You race at Hickory Motor Speedway, and I know you've raced it with Landon Huffman. You know, do you find yourself possibly coming, you know, into the sim racing world with iRacing and stuff, you know, being able to compete with guys like Landon Huffman that you do race with, again, in real life?
Well, I didn't really hear it breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
I said, can you hear me now, Pietro?
Yeah, I hear you better now. I was just breaking up really bad.
Sorry, it's a little bit of bandwidth issue over here, but racing at Hickory with guys like Landon Huffman and, you know, some of the North Carolina local late model talent, they seem to be doing a lot of their during the week testing with software like iRacing.com, and Landon Huffman himself here, who you've raced with at Hickory Motor Speedway, he's actually going to be running later on in the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series that happens with the iRacing.com software. Do you look to possibly use a tool like that to help you build your skills, possibly move forward as you get into like the K&N car and so on?
Oh yeah, it really helps. Like we have iRacing. I have one at home, and we have like 2 of them at the shop. And before I went to Richmond for the Denny Hamlin race, like we couldn't go testing for a week before, but pretty much like a month before, I was already like practicing with the late model at Richmond, and it just helps you like just a lot with the feeling of the car is a little bit different, but like the visual of the track and just like it's just perfect. And then I just went to Richmond, I came back on ice, and I was like, the feeling of the car is a little bit different, but like the visual of the track and kind of like learning the line and where the pit exit and pit entrance is, just it helps you tremendously.
Wesley, you got anything for him?
We're going to have to get off here in 1 minute, but Pietro, buddy, congratulations on your victory. Real quickly, throw out your sponsors on your car that got you to Victory Lane at the Fall Brawl.
No, yeah, we had Dropbox, Mobile One, you know, Grotto, all the sponsors that helped me, Poly Shop, Vince One Tank, Harrington, and LTO Performance Center, and my family, and God, it's my team, you know, my team for putting all their effort in.
Definitely, and a great racing career for this young man in the late model stocks. His first ever late model victory from Davidson Pietro Fittipaldi, winning the Fall Brawl. Mike, where are you going to this weekend, buddy?
I am traveling to Nashville, Tennessee to see the All-American 400.
The true 400 lapper.
True 400 lapper.
True 400 lapper. I'm going to the Beckley Motorsports Parkley Wednesday, Fox Television production for the Fast Track World Championship. Looking forward to that. Me and Lenny Baticki working together, doing some on-air camera stuff on Wednesday and Thursday. And Justin, what tracks you going to up in the Midwest, buddy?
I'm sitting my lucky butt at home. I got too much work this weekend to hit the racetracks, but you guys will catch me just reading the race results as the weekend goes on.
The invite to come down to West Virginia, but he turned it down. You know, it's okay.
That's all right. I'm just a poor guy. I'll get there eventually, Wes.
Race results, Mike Neff will post them and put them on our And the Winner Is Facebook account as always. But for everybody, J.D. Webb, God bless you, get better. For the great staff that always make it happen, for Mike Neff, the Racing Devil, I'm Wes. Justin Rose now. Thank you for tuning in to the October 1st edition of And the Winner Is Motorsports Show, a broadcast of the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Good night and God bless.